Welcome to Oracle for Startups. We're talking to the CTO of Liquibase, a company that helps dev teams release software faster. Robert Reeves, thanks for being here.
Well, thanks for having me.
So, Robert, what is Liquibase all about?
Well, Liquibase is about getting you home to spend time with your family, little league games, date nights, all the things that you want to do, but you can't because you're stuck updating a database schema for an application release. Right now, that's a manual process, and we found out a way to automate it.
So how does Liquibase accelerate development exactly?
Well, right now, we've got all sorts of great tools to help customers get their applications out the door. So certainly things with continuous integration, continuous delivery, all just tons and tons of things helping the application, lowercase a, part of the stack. Not a lot helping out our friends on the database side of the stack. And so what's happening is we're accelerating our application releases, the compiled bits, but we're not doing a very good job of accelerating those database schema changes. And so we're starting to get a velocity gap where the application keeps getting out faster and faster, and we're crushing our database professionals because they're manually reviewing scripts, they're manually executing scripts, they're having to bundle them up from the development team, and it's just really unfair. It's also a huge bottleneck. And so when we align our database schema change with our application code change, we get the true promise of DevOps across the board.
So who has the most to gain from leveraging this technology?
Well, I think first is developers. And so right now they are masters of their own destiny. They are able to push out a release. They have automated that push to production. However, they get held up with database changes. So for example, if you have a 72-hour SLA to get a database schema change through your DBA team, hour 71, the DBAs find an issue with it, rightfully so. I didn't, preface a table name with T underscore, or I'm adding too many columns to an index, things like that. Maybe it's just syntactically incorrect. Maybe it's relying on objects that aren't in the database you thought were there. So at hour 71, they kick it back to the dev team. And so now the dev team has to interrupt what they're doing. They thought it was done. They pushed out the release, but now we've got to maybe reopen a sprint, go back to this old issue and resolve it. And that interrupts work. It's also boring. It's no fun. And so we're hoping that when developers are able to automate schema change with Liquibase, then the rest of the downstream can benefit from that.
So if everybody benefits, have you encountered any hesitation to adoption of this kind of technology, and how do you overcome it?
At the end of the day, we all want to accelerate how quickly we get software out the door. It does us no good putting up artificial blockers because we want to have a human involved. Look, we don't do this with provisioning environments in the cloud anymore. All right. We've got infrastructure as code. We're automating a lot of our testing efforts. There's no reason why we shouldn't apply those learnings to the database tier. And it's exactly what Oracle did with Autonomous Database. Let's look at the things that are holding up our use and provisioning of Oracle Database. Okay. Let's automate a lot of that stuff. Let's, remove toil and human mischief. And so we've done the same thing, but instead of on the system DBA side, which is what Autonomous Database focuses on, we've focused on the application DBA.
So you mentioned Liquibase isn't about software, it's about reclaiming time. What do you recommend that developers and companies do with all the time that they save using Liquibase?
All right, let's say that 1 out of 10 of your experiments are going to be super successful that drives a ton of revenue and cost savings across the company. 1 out of 10. All right. It's a really good batting average for experimentation. But I can only do this once a month. So that means only, if I'm lucky, twice a year, 1.2 times a year, I'm going to have a home run. Well, what if I can do this once a week? Now we're 5 plus. What if I can do this once a day? Now I'm at 36 plus. And so what I recommend is all this time savings that we get from using Liquibase. Let's release more software and let's try weird and strange things. Let's listen to the customer and get software out the door that benefits them. Sometimes it'll work. Sometimes, it's okay. Other times, oh my God, where you been all my life? I love it. And so what I'm suggesting with all that time is that we do better, we release better software. That's it. Let's do what we love.
There's two ways that I want to go with this. One is startup culture has a bad reputation for burnout already. How is Liquibase adjusting to making sure that burning out isn't part of that story?
Look, at the end of the day, if you focus on if you realize that the people that are at your company are the most important asset that you have, it's not the code, it's not IP, it's not branding, it's the people. And every day, those people leave their computer and go and do what they're going to do. And you pray that they come back. So treat them that way. It ain't hard. Empathy, transparency, allowing people to experiment and fail and learn from those mistakes and improve. This is how you avoid burnout. This is not a grind. All right. We are on a mission. And when everybody's committed to that mission and we do it with love in our heart and empathy, one, we're going to be successful. And two, I think we've taken care of burnout. There's always room to improve, though.
Yeah, very well said. Well, I think Oracle for Startups shares a lot of those values, including empathy and also including a fully remote virtual program that is benefit rich. As a member of Oracle for Startups, can you tell us a little bit about your experience with the program?
Look, our experience with the Oracle Startups program has been great. It's accessible. So the people that we would like to talk to were able to do this. And also, it seems to me very welcoming. All right. Other partnerships that we've had, it's very difficult to get access to the team that is working with our customer. Not in this case. So to find, if we have a large financial services company that we're working with and helping them out, they're using Oracle database. Getting access to that account team has been a breeze. And it's been really useful to partner together and make that customer ridiculously satisfied. When we're working with the OCI folks for setting up our testing environments, they have been great about actually providing us Terraform files to fire up instances in OCI. That's been huge for us. Super valuable to not only, okay, here is what you can do with OCI, but no, here's a Terraform file, exactly what y'all needed. And that was really cool. Got a GitHub pull request from it. It was awesome.
Love that. And I think I'm going to add ridiculously satisfied to our Net Promoter Score surveys going forward. What is next for Liquibase?
Well, we've got some cool stuff recently released that we're pretty excited about. One is Liquibase Hub. And so what this is it's a offering where existing Liquibase users, Community Edition, Liquibase Pro, Liquibase Enterprise, don't care, all right? What you can do is you can register your Liquibase changelog with Liquibase Hub, and every time Liquibase runs, it's going to update Hub with status and reporting on your run. So you get to see exactly what was changed on the database, who changed it, when. And so this allows you, instead of keeping the Liquibase results tucked away in your CI or CD solution, you're able to share these results with the team and say, this is what happened, and give them insight. Because Right now, there's not a lot of insight into what has changed on that database schema. And so one, providing the mechanism to make the change is important. We do that with Liquibase, but also with Liquibase Hub, share what those changes were. And so again, transparency, communication, these are valuable things that improve the organization. What we're seeing is that customers that use this, they've already implemented Liquibase. What they're able to do is show their teammates the benefit of Liquibase. So they initially started Liquibase for themselves, right? Little league games, happy hours, things like that. Okay. But now they're improving the organization. And so this is helping them get visibility into what exactly that software engineer is doing to help out the org. That's pretty powerful stuff.
Yep. Transparency is incredibly powerful. And speaking of transparency, if people want to learn more about Liquibase, where should they go?
Well, you can go and check us out at liquibase.com. Go ahead and misspell it. Google will set you straight.
We'll find you.
And of course, there's all sorts of integrations with things like GitHub Actions. There's a Docker container that's supported in Docker Hub. You can get this stuff pretty much anywhere. Odds are somebody in your company is already using it.
Great. Well, you're hard to miss. Thank you so much for being here, Robert.